right here. Here we go. There's the back. Bringing it up. That's not too bad. Okay, let's get that sound going so you can hear me. Alrighty, so what do we need to do? We need to grab this body, and we've got that body. We need to get in there and drill those holes. I've got the drill bit too. I've got black hardware. It's got Mr. Glynn's Cruel Mistress vintage telly pickups, brass saddles, bone nut. It's all good. Where the weed at? What's going on? Thank you for the follow. Good to see you. Welcome on in. Who? Okay, so that's that guy there. But that's to show you that copper looking red cedar when it really gets polished up. It really looks copperish. Come here, little guy. Come here, my little boy. What is happening, slowpokes? What's going on? How's your week been? Welcome to the show. Just put my man print on. How are we all doing? We good? I hope we are. Hope you're well. What's happening? Terry, you're here. Leslie's here. All good. Tom's in the house. Good to see you guys. We're going to carve a top outside today. We're going to grind that top away. And we're going to work on that neck that we also prepped the other day. Welcome on in. Hope you've had a good week. I've had a pretty good week. Picked up my truck. It's a good truck. Enjoying that. So this guy's going to get a carve right now and see what that turns out like. Here's our binding that we glued together last week. You can see the joints, but we need to work on straightening this out and smoothing that out and getting it as one streamlined piece before we bend that into shape. We're going to make a couple more of these. I might put another one together at the end of the day, and then we can bind that body once it's carved. So let's, without further ado, get out there and do that. Fun new truck. It is a new truck, and it's fun. Put my glasses on. How you all been? Are you well? Tell you about the truck. Well, it's just a truck. Buddy hat. Got my buddy hat on. Buddy's not here at the moment. He's out with a friend, visiting a friend of his, playing with another dog. Now, who wants to go out and grind some sawdust? Let's do that. I better put a mask on. Terry, do I need a mask? Always need a mask. I'm going to put this guy on. I've got my glasses on. We'll go out and grind that thing. Let's put this guy on. Radio. Let's go. Let me know if you can hear me. Give us a 1. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Thank you for the resub, Dana. Awesome. Hi, Mark. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for the resub, Dana. You are the best. 27 months. Okay, let's get out there and do this.
Could you hear me okay out there? Give me a 1 if you could hear outside. I don't know if you've heard it. Doesn't really matter. You can see, so that's good enough. Getting there.
Dano in the house. What's happening, kids? Welcome to the Guitar Show. Dano, what's going? Nifty. What is happening, brother? Good to see you. Can everyone see that? The machine. Is that me? CNC arms. That's it. What's happening, Nift? Good to see you, mate. What else have we got? A gifted sub for Terry. Thank you very much, Terry. That's to help Tom along the way. Good work. Can you guys see that okay? Yeah, we love the Purple Heart, Nifty. You know that. It's one of our faves. Ooh. Dano with a resub too. Thank you very much. Dano. Plain as day. See it all happening. Excellent. Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my mask on and go back out there. Lots of work to do after I carve away most of the terraces. I've got to sand it smooth and all that sort of stuff. But we also have to prep the edges. They're a bit rough. And get the binding channel right. There's a lot of manual work and, you know, adjustment work that's needed. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Okay. Rage, you make beautiful stuff. Don't you dare doubt yourself. Back to the sand. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. side, a little bit more. Not bad. Not bad at all. Pretty good. I'm happy with that. Okay. Let's catch up to where we are at.
Okay, so we've got the basic carve done now. Looks like crap. Lots of marks and lots of scorching on there. But you can see it's carved now. Okay, we've got our steep sides there. We've got our steep sides there, in here in the waistline. Okay, we've got to put a 4-degree, you can see that falling away now. We're going to get a 4-degree slope up there eventually. But that's the carve, and we've got a lot of sanding to do now and get those burn marks out and get that guy. It's nice and shiny though, you can actually see the curves on it. So it's starting to, you can see how that drops away. Pretty bloody difficult. That's what I think. Carving is hard. It's very much a feel. Send it to Hank for sanding. You know, Tom, he would kill it. He'd spend about 4 hours on it and it would look like glass. Looks fantastic. Look, it's coming up okay. That's it there. There's a couple little spots I need to touch up. Got to get the edges done again properly. So yeah, I've got to be very careful with that. There's not much left on the sides here, about a couple of 16ths, an eighth of an inch maybe. So I can't touch them too much, just very lightly. But most of the stuff is gone. You can see it's quite shiny, so it's reasonably smooth even to the touch. There's not many high spots. But now what we do is we hit that with like 400 and get that smoothed out, and then we've pretty much got the shape of that girl that we want. Okay, so that's how we do that guy. And I can check the profile, see how it is with some templates. Let's see if I've got those guys somewhere here. What would I do with those templates? Terry, what would I possibly do with those templates? They are around somewhere. They're basically a Les Paul profile. I don't know what I've done with them. They'll be around here somewhere. Now, of course, this isn't a Les Paul, but we can do funny things to get us close to that. If I hang them up here, I'm trying to find them. Here they are. No, that's not them. No, that's not them. intervention and we use them. Okay, time to do some network. So what I'm going to do is bring the camera in. Let's catch up with the chat. Manny's always misplacing something. You know me, Terry. The face. There's the face. Very much burn marks from the, because what I use is a 80 grit flap and it's worn. You never go into these with a fresh piece of grinder disc because it'll just eat it right through. So you've got to go and get a worn piece. What I normally do is I grab a brand new 80 grit, I hit a Besser block or a brick and take all those sharp edges and blunt that paper. And that's why you get burn marks, but they will come out with some sanding on the with the sander. Some 240 and some 400 will make it look nice and clean. Okay, we've still got to do the front of that first, so I'm going to get this routed before we do the final cleaning up. A, we don't want to sand stuff that we don't want need there, and B, we don't want to sand stuff that we don't want to be there. Now let's get that neck and show you where we're up to. Hey, how about that? All right, I'll put this away. There's lots of work for that body to do yet. Lots of sanding. Probably needs about 2 or 3 good days of sanding and specific routing and stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this guy. I'll show you what arrived the other day. So the bridge has arrived for this guy. So let me pop the clamps and the neck down there like so. I'll switch over to the bench. There's our neck that we did the other day. Haven't moved it. Here's a Wilkinson bridge. It's a vintage wraparound bridge. Not a, I'm trying to keep as much of that Purple Heart visible as possible. So I've gone for a wraparound, but it's a modern day wraparound, not an old. It's got adjustable saddles for the right intonation, but it's a nice bridge. Okay, that's the bridge there that we're going to use. I'll just pop that on there and we'll get a semblance. I like that word semblance. I like that word semblance. So if we look at that, like so. Right, like so. So that's our bridge. It's going to go somewhere there. And it's beautifully arched at the bottom. It actually hasn't got a flat bottom. It sits on there nicely, nice and flush. So the goal, and you're not going to get a tail. You're not going to get a tail stop down the bottom here. We're going to not drop it firstly. Lucky there's rubber mat. So that guy's going to sit like that. Okay. Just a single bridge, wraparound bridge. That's going to be nice once we get that guy on there. So, first things first. Let's get this neck going. I'll put this body away. BMT, what's going on? No, yes, it does. It sits on adjustable poles. What I'm saying is it just happens to have a slight curve so that it sits on the profile of the top. It does have 2 pole pieces, these guys here, and it'll push on those adjustable poles. The beauty of that wraparound is you don't need a tail stop here to hold the strings and bring them over the bridge. They just go under the bridge and over. It's a wraparound. So we'll use that. Okay, let's remove these clamps and see what we've got here, Terry. What are we doing, Terry? Having a martini. Sounds like fun. Awesome. Terry, we've got to pull all these clamps off. Thanks to you, we put them on there. Now we have to pull them off. Martinis all round. I'll show you where we're up to. Very happy. Yes, excellent. So am I. Saves me a lot of time. let's have a look at this guy. I'm going to pop this neck that I've just touched in here. So that sort of fits in there. It'll fit better once I get this guy properly fitted, but you can start seeing what that guy's going to look like. Okay, purple heart body, purple heart headstock, Tassie black wood neck, and I've got a cover on that there, but it's mahogany body. That's going to look stunning once we're done. But we've saved that neck, I think. Yes, we have. I'm happy with that. Very good work, team. Manny for the save. That's me. Manny for the save. I'm happy that was teamwork, collaboration. Somebody said something which triggered something, and somebody else had a slurp of their supersized skinny latte, made a few bubbles, burped, prompted something else in my head. Then I dropped something, and that bounced up and hit me in the knee, which reminded me that we could save this. Lin! Dana, you might. It's got special meaning. Huh. All right, I'm going to call it there. Seeing as that neck has to dry, I'm going to call it there. We've got a lot of work to do. Let me show you the bridge on this guy that we've got. So the bridge is a wraparound. There's our bridge, our wraparound. It's got graduated little saddles there that we can adjust. So we'll get the intonation perfect. Two little posts. They sit on the back. That's going to look wonderful. Gold hardware on this guy. Gold humbuckers. Gold hardware. It's going to be awesome. Little pick came with it. Always send me a little pick with it. Little Allen key with it. So we're going to fix that dude up. And that's going to look magic with the tuners. The tuners have been ordered, so there's 3 aside, gold again. We're going to go for that glossy purple look with the gold hardware this time. Thank you for the sub. The gifted sub. Lynn, you are awesome. Dano, thank you earlier on for the resub as well. Terry and Dana as well. You guys are the best. And I will show you guys where I'm up to. When we come back. So, if you haven't seen the body, here's the body. Okay, there's a close-up. You can see the shape. See how it falls away. Okay, and the edges. See the edges. Falls away into there, pinching in that waistline. These are all just little scuff and burn marks. They will sand out, but that's going to look wonderful. And a lot of that height's come out, Tom. Remember how you said, God, that looks really thick. Is that the thickness? But see how it's only very, very slightly, maybe, 5/8, not even that, 3/8 of an inch higher at this point. At this point it's probably half an inch, but it does fall away. That'll be lovely once we get that guy sanded by hand and cleaned up. Send the hardware on the details. Okay, Terry, it's a Wilkinson wraparound bridge. And in gold, and gold 3 per side locking tuners. I'll send them to you anyway. Guys and girls, that's it. I'm going to call it there. Thank you very much for being here. We're going to be back on Monday. I'm so glad that we've saved this guy. We saved it. Can you see it? Can you see what I've cut it? Barely. Just there. Just a little bit close to the edge, and it went over. So I filled that up, and I'm just going to recut it again. Once we bind that, you won't see anything. Once we bind and radius that, we've saved the neck, which is good because it's a damn good fretboard. And I didn't want to muck around taking that off, but yep, that's it. Dana, you got it. Anyway, guys, Majestic is so right for the name. We're going to call it the Majestic. We're going to make a little... Actually, no, I'm not going yet. What I wanted to do was prepare to see... Okay, so let's get back to the bench. I wanted to draw a little cap for this this guy. So I'm going to measure one out. I want it to be 2 inches long. Perfecto. 2 inches. I'll make it 2.5. Two and a half inches long. We're going to use this flamed part here, which is really nice. So we're going to measure 2.5 inches. This is a truss rod cavity cover. Okay, 2.5 inches. Draw a line across here. Let's get a center line down this guy. Make it center line. Okay. The normal way I do this is a diamond top, a diamond head. So we go down at 45. And at 45. Can you guys see that? You probably can't see that, can you? Maybe that's better for you guys. Now I take half of that. Hang on, what happened there? 1, 1.5, 1. Oh. Up. Trying to remember how I did the last one. Starts like that. Goes up like that. Oh yeah, that's it. It's like a keyhole. Okay, that's cool. Then we go down to the bottom and fix that. So I'm going to go down to here. How long is that? 2.5. So at the bottom, we're going to go all the way to the back. We want to go up. That's got to go out to at least 1.5 up. There. And there. We'll line across there. That pretty much goes cut that shape out, which is the keyhole type shape. It's not quite a bell, it's a keyhole shape. And that's going to cover that guy there on the neck there. So we'll do that next time we're back on the show. Okay, that's it for me. Time to sign off. What have you got? Favorite show is Bananas in Pajamas. No, it's not. No, it's not. I'll be back Monday. You guys be good. Let's see if anyone is streaming. I will raid them. Thank you for being here. Appreciate your help. Thank you very much for your inspiration to get that saved. We've saved the neck, which is good news. We've carved the body, which is also good news. Let's see who's on. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Damn it, wrong app. I'll go to Lone Mountain because he's doing stuff and he's always interesting in one way or another. Have a great weekend. Absolutely, everybody. Let me raid and then I'll let you go. That worked. See you later, guys. Be good. Hang in there. Don't give up. Like I didn't give up today and I fixed that fretboard. Got it saved. I'm so happy. Have a good weekend. See you next time. Bye for now.